Guys, stop apologizing for being proud of yourself. Sometimes people that talk to me, they'll be like, oh my God, they'll be like, I'm sorry, man. I feel like I'm just talking about myself. I'm like, hey man, listen, it's okay to believe in yourself around me, buddy. Okay? You're giving me hope. When good shit happens to people, I get hopeful. Cause that's the positive about being selfish.
Welcome to FredTalk, where if you're not learning, hopefully you're laughing.
Big kid energy. Welcome to the FredTalk podcast. I am your host, Freddie Veloy. Today's episode, it's a spicy meet the ball. Today we have on Chris Marra. He's a comedian. He's a Northeastern Philly guy, so you know I'm already in love with him already. And this episode is a typical Fred talk. We get to really know Chris. He talks about he has Tourettes, so we talk a little bit about that. He's in therapy. He's a strong believer in mental health. He said if he ran for president, that would be on his platform, is mental health therapy for people. I mean, come on. He talks about his dad committing suicide, living with an abusive mother. We talk about comedy. We talk about politics. I mean, we talk about living in Raleigh, North Carolina, which is like one of the up and coming cities in America. There's many of them. And we talk about the pros and cons. Great episode. I'm not going to, without any further ado, guys, actually, I got one to do. Sign up to my Patreon, patreon.com/Freddie Veloy. It's $5 a month. You get extra content. If you can't do that, just subscribe to the podcast or share it with somebody. All right. Okay. Now, without any further ado, here's Chris Marra. Yay. All right. So Chris, you're a Jersey guy, right?
Philly.
Oh shit. Even worse.
Yeah.
So how do you like it? How long have you been in the South?
About 5 years now.
How you liking it?
Pros and cons.
All right, I want to hear the pros.
I mean, it's cheaper.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of Northeasterners down here.
Yeah.
So it's not as redneck as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
So I'm like a Giants fan, Yankees fan, so I still meet like-minded people.
Yeah, yeah.
I've met some cool people, but I feel like anywhere you'll live, you'll meet cool people. Yeah. As long as you're social. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much it.
What are the cons?
How much time we got? No, I mean, it's, I think Raleigh especially is kind of like just like a generic city. Like I've said it multiple times on my podcast, Raleigh is just like, if you were playing a video game and it was just, they needed to put like a generic city in there.
Yeah.
That's what Raleigh would be. There's no like personality. Like it's, I'm openly not a huge fan of the comedy scene, which is not good as a aspiring headliner.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
In regards to, because I agree with you with Raleigh being generic. That's one of my things. I feel like it is super vanilla.
Yeah.
And what's good is that the city has like some buzz and all that, but it definitely needs some more like pizzazz. Like, so what do you think would make it less vanilla? Like a city like Raleigh, a generic city?
That's a good question. We got to stop with the breweries. I think, no, like we have enough. Like if you want craft beer, there's plenty of places. Like I walked here to your place today and I think I passed like 5. Like that's
a lot.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think with the influx of people coming here, I think naturally over time it will get its own, but I had a friend visit and I was last 2 weeks ago and I was thinking like, what could I show him? And I was like, Glenwood, the bars, like there's not a whole lot. Everyone's like, oh, it's 2 hours to the beach. But it's like, there's nothing like when I think of Philly, I think of blue collar, angry people. Like I'm angry. I'm North Carolina angry, but like back home, I'm like a teddy bear. So then you think of cheesesteaks and like the sports, all the arenas are right there. Here, it's like we got hockey, which, come on, it's hockey. Let's be honest. And then you have to pick one of the 3 major schools in the area, all whom I have problems with.
So I think with the craft beer thing, I think a lot of dudes that are into craft beer, they're either married or they're not getting a lot of pussy. Mm-hmm. I think that's the two, which a lot of times the married people could fall into that category.
Exactly.
It's like a fun semi-scientific thing you could get into, memorize some facts.
Yeah.
When I can't stand when dudes are like, have you tried this? They just start asking you, did you try this beer or this? I'm like, no. After the sours came out, I was done with craft beer. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm good. Like,
I used to work in the craft beer industry. I was in craft beer software for 2 years. So like I was really about it, and it just wears you out. And now when I go out, I hate when like the bartender is trying to describe to me like the process that they made. And I'm like, I don't care. Cause I usually go there. People will test. I go, what's the highest ABV? Yeah. What's the beer with it? And I need that. I was in Asheville a few weeks ago with my girlfriend, and a lady in front of us was literally asking about each type of beer, what a sour was, what a Belgian, like all this stuff. And I'm just like, if I'm at I like dive bars.
Yeah.
I go, you got Yingling? Great. Give me that. And then if I need something lighter, give me Coors Light. I'm just over the craft bullshit. It's like it's the bubbles burst, in my opinion.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think there's a whole shit ton of breweries and all that. Craft beer. So you got. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. For anybody watching on video,
I wonder what this is going to be.
Yeah. So what's it? How's it been like living with Tourette's? Like,
it's funny. I put it on. I'm not trying to like push my podcast or anything, but I
no, you should.
Yeah. Well, I talked about it yesterday on mine, and it's not that I'm necessarily embarrassed by it, but it's like your body's like your own prison, and it's like people always try to like make you feel better, and they're like, oh well, I have this. Everyone has their own thing, but it's like it's not. My whole life it's been obvious I had Tourette's. It's not like being gay where you can be in a closet, it is what, and I have a good sense of humor about it. Like tonight at Good Nights, I'll probably tell my Tourette's jokes.
Yeah.
But it's annoying. I had an incident 2 weeks ago, and this stuff happens all the time, but it is annoying. Like I walked out of the bathroom and I must've twitched or whatever. And the bartender was like, oh, this guy just did drugs.
Oh,
and it's just shit like that like it does bother me, but it's like I would just want one day where I can go out, and it's not even worrying about it. It's just I don't want to have to even have that potentially come up.
Has it gotten easier for you as you've gotten older? Like,
when I was growing up, like every year my tics would like change. Now it's pretty consistent, but like sometimes it gets worse if I drink alcohol, coffee, if my anxiety's high, if I don't get sleep. So pretty much anything triggers it, which sucks. That's part of the reason I love stand up, because when I go up there, like people are always like, dude, you didn't twitch at all. And I'm like, I know, because that's like the one time that someone's looking at me and they're actually listening to me, and I don't have to worry about them being like, what was that? Is he on coke? Like, is there
any times off stage when you don't twitch as well?
I mean, I can tell when I'm like more calm.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's just certain like if I'm comfortable around people, like there's nothing worse than being to like a bar I've never been to and it's packed, because it increases my anxiety, and then I feel like people are looking at me. So there's just a lot. But if I'm comfortable around people, I don't do it as much. Sometimes if I get excited, I can feel it coming on too. Mm-hmm. But it's just it's one of those things you got to live with. And yeah, I don't like when people try to like sympathize or like try to make, well, everyone has something. Cause like I have anxiety and depression too. It's not like we all have something. Yeah. But mine's very,
yeah, you can like see it.
Yeah. It's not like, oh, I get eczema in the winter. Like go fuck yourself. Like,
and I could imagine like a lot of people are so uninteresting. Like they meet somebody with an Australian accent. They're like, oh, your accent.
And
it's
then
like,
every girl wants to fuck him, even though he has no personality. I lived with an Australian guy. He's one of my best friends. Not a good looking guy at all. But it was like when we walked into a party together, I like to think I was better looking. I was in better shape too. We both played rugby, and it's like, I knew I was better looking, but like, would you rather fuck the Australian guy or the twitchy guy? Like every girl wants to, like on your bucket list or your fuck it list wants to fuck a foreigner. But no girl's ever been like, I want to fuck a guy with Tourette's. Like that's never, ever been written down.
I feel like it'd be kind of like, there has to be somebody out there that's like, with the twitching, and maybe it gives a little fucking extra motion in there.
Well, that's what I talk about that. I on stage, I say, women are missing out because it makes me good at oral, like naturally. Yeah. Like I'm a human vibrator.
Yeah.
Hummingbird. Yeah. So
when anybody tried to sympathize with you, has anybody come close, or you've been like, oh shit, no, you got it worse? Like, has anybody like, oh, I have cancer or something like that? Like,
No.
Oh.
No, because Tourette's is still hilarious. Like it's still funny as fuck. Because like no one's running a 5K for Tourette's. Everyone's running a 5K for diabetes or cancer, or knitting a sweater, or, a quilt. But like, but I mean, the only time I've met people with Tourette's and you can spot it a mile away, you're like, oh, I know what that is.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when black guys have that, even if they don't know each other, they have that like loyalty to each other.
Oh, the head nod.
Yeah, the head nod.
All day, yeah.
Like I recognize it, but I've met people that they were like, I have Tourette's too, and it's like just their knee. And I'm like, okay, but I'm jealous of that. Like I wish that was my, thing.
You ever been with a girl with Tourette's?
No, it's way more common in men. Women complain all the time about pretty much everything, but they don't have to deal with Tourette's nearly as much as men.
Oh shit, I didn't know that. Do you know, is there a reason for that other than just being a man, or?
I'm sure there is, but all it is I have more dopamine firing in my brain right now. And that's it. So it's just everything.
Okay.
So I have a hard time donating blood. Not that I would do it just for fun. I tried in high school. I have high blood pressure. It's just one of those annoying things that like I would love to trade Tourette's for eczema. Or, you know what I mean? But we all have something, but it's like, come on. Like,
Is it frustrating like in the dating scene with Tourette's, or have you figured that out?
Yeah. I mean, I have a girlfriend now, so it's not, and we were friends for a while. So she obviously knew, I would hope. But, I mean, and sometimes I would get in my own head. Like my platonic girlfriends would be like, you can't worry, like you need to be confident, everything like that. Like when I had a brief player stage when I lived in Wilmington and I was being an idiot, it didn't really affect me, but I still think it, like there's been times at the bar where I would see like a really good looking girl and there's just like a certain look they give you, like, what the fuck was that? And it's just kind of like, it's disheartening. You don't want to talk. It's hard enough talking to a girl.
Oh God. Yeah.
And you don't want to, after that, you're already shooting. It's not like I'm the best looking guy. I don't think I'm good looking. I don't think I'm bad looking. I think I'm just like, if I'm your type, then you'll probably think I'm attractive. But like, I'm not drop dead gorgeous where I can overcome that.
How tall are you? 6'3"?
6'2.5". Yeah,
you're 6'2.5" and funny. You're ahead of the game there, I think.
Yeah. No. Again, like it's still one of those things that you're just like, fuck. Like they saw me do it or whatever, and it's, it's kind of just like one of those disheartening things. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got a girlfriend now and you guys are friends before. I like that setup. Cause when you're friends, that's how me and my girl are. We were friends before. So you can like be yourself around them. Cause you're like, cause at one point I was like, I'm never going to fuck this girl. I don't give a shit.
Right.
So you get to be loose. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh damn, you like me. You're like,
right. That's literally, and it's funny cause I've had this one therapist for over a year now, and one of the things I wrote, or one of the goals I had, was to have like a real relationship with a woman. That's something I struggle with my whole life because of my mom, abusive, all that shit.
Yeah.
But and so he was saying he has this like chart, and it's like 3 circles in each other, and it's like facts on the outside, which is like, is that person attractive? Mm-hmm. Then like emotions, and then like, I should probably know this, like feelings or something like that in the middle. And he said, when you're friends with someone, it's easier to develop a romantic relationship because you can, get to that emotional level easier without meeting a girl on an app. And then you kind of like, you're forcing so we were friends for like 5 months. And so hanging out a lot, not a whole lot, but like whatever, in the same friend group.
Yeah.
She's also a coworker, which is mildly hilarious to me, but yeah. And she's a director. She's like way up here and I'm way down here. And no one at the company that like matters knows, which is just funny. Like I'll see her on a call with like the C-level people.
Yeah.
And then I call my low-level peasant coworkers, and it's just like, it's funny that we're like next to each other.
Yeah. So me and my girl were coworkers as well. Our territories were right next to each other.
Right.
So we used to do like ride days together and shit like that. We were on the same level on the org chart,
right.
But she was like a top sales rep, and I was like slightly above average. So it was like,
so that's why we're in this nice house right now.
yeah. Hell yeah, bro. Hell yeah.
Dude, I'm all for it, man. She keeps thinking I'm going to make it in comedy and then she'll quit her job. I'm like, that's the complete opposite.
You're an idiot.
I'll watch the cats.
I'll take care of the house. I'll do trophy. I would 100% be a trophy husband.
Yeah. I mean, it's 2021, almost 2022. I mean, yeah. Fuck it.
I've met a bunch of dudes that they're like, I can't have my girl make more than me. It's like,
I think a couple years ago I was like that. Like I still feel bad when she pays for stuff, but she also doesn't want me to pay for everything. Like she wants to feel like,
yeah,
which I appreciate. But now I'm like, yeah, fuck, good for you, girl. Get it. Like,
yeah,
fuck it. You earned it.
Well, that means you probably provide in other ways that are probably more important than.
Are you talking about the Tourette's oral thing again? Or are you talking like
no, just
stuff?
like you got a personality, like you know what I'm saying. A lot of dudes, especially as you get old, a lot of dudes get stiff as we get older.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So you probably
I'll never be that.
Yeah,
no, fuck that. No,
I did that for like 3 years and got depressed.
Yeah,
fuck yeah.
No, I'd rather be myself. Yeah, no, I've always been myself.
What's something that you've learned from past relationships is helping you in your current one?
Oh man, I kind of thought about that the other day. Like there's been certain situations that I know I would have acted differently if I was 22-year-old Chris or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's kind of just like, and I'm not religious at all, but my favorite prayer when I went to Catholic school was, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And it's like,
Nice.
there's just certain things that like I can't control, and I just have to like, and not good or bad.
Yeah.
But like, it's, but she's great, honestly. So
yeah, I met her. She's awesome.
yeah, no, she's,
you can tell like,
I love introducing her to people because one, I think she's hot, but two, it's just like, she's a lot of fun. She's always like in the center of the conversation. I don't have to like worry about her. Like, I don't have to like entertain her if I'm talking to someone else. Like she'll come home with more friends than me.
Yeah.
So like, great.
oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I like hanging out with dudes that like, brag about their girls like that. Like say good things. I hate when dudes are like, I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Dude. Like, what are you?
I'm kind of estranged with my sister now, the only relative I have in North Carolina. And I keep wanting to introduce her to her just so I can be like, I'm not a fucking, like, I'm not the black sheep of the family. I'm doing fucking great.
Yeah.
But it'll happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long you been in therapy?
I was on and off for a while. Like I think we went too soon after my dad killed himself, which I guess we'll probably get into in a minute now that I brought it up. But I think it was too soon, and I don't know. But I've always been a big proponent of it, and I went a little bit in college because it was free, and then I couldn't afford it out of college. I was making like no money. And then I went a few times, but it's been like over a year with this one guy. And like finding a therapist is really just like dating. Like you have to find, like when I first met him, I was like, this guy's a fucking banana. Like he's a boner of a guy. But I think that's why it's good, because he can I would never hang out with this guy, but like it's funny how like you find that you have things in common, and like, yeah. And so his name's James. He's great.
Nice. What have you picked up over the past year? Like,
that I'm not, if I feel a certain way, other people feel that way too. And I'm not the fuck up that I was told I was growing up, and my one sister makes me feel. And that, I don't know, that I'm aware of myself more now and how I react. And like, I understand some people need antidepressants, but I'm a huge no drug guy at all, really. Whether it's recreational or that, like if I know I'm going through shit, I know what I have to do to get out of it. Like
nice.
That's it. I'm in control of that. I'm not in control of my Tourette's, but I'm in control of that to an extent.
That's a good way to like, I guess, balance that part out.
Yeah.
Are you ever tired after therapy? Like you're like, God damn, like.
Sometimes, yeah, you're like, fuck. And then like, cause I work from home still. So like I block it off for like an hour on my calendar, and then I'm like, fuck, I don't want to call people. Like, I'm in sales, then I'm like, I don't want to do this shit. You have to like digest what you talked about. And now like a few months in, I always ask my therapist like a few action items to work on for the next session. So I can I feel like I'm constantly working on it. because some people just go to therapy and they're like, well, I talked about blah, blah, blah. And they don't like apply it. And then of course they're not going to come again because it's expensive. But yeah, it wipes you out, man.
Hell yeah. I remember it was like a few sessions in. I was like, why am I so fucking tired?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I just went through some like emotional release shit.
And because no one, it's like a fat person exercising for the first time in 10 years. Like, because humans, we don't really tap in. It's, you wake up, you go to work, then you're hanging out with friends at a fucking brewery for a couple hours after work, and then you're whatever, and then you don't really get to actually feel your feelings.
Yeah.
So you just bottle it up, and you're not used to releasing it, which everyone should.
Yeah.
I think mental health should be. I'm waiting for one presidential candidate to be like, all right, it's going to be medical, vision, dental, mental.
Yeah.
Like that. I don't care, right, left, man, woman, black, white. Not Puerto Rican, but no, but yeah, that's how I feel. Yeah.
Damn, bro, I think you're onto something. That would be a hot ticket item right there. Like,
because it has a ripple effect with everything.
yeah,
Like if people are actually getting the help they need, and even if you're not depressed, it helps. I don't care. You know, I want my girlfriend to go. She's like, I don't know what to talk about. And I'm like, you just have to, you know, most people aren't like me. I literally showed up the first day of therapy with a list of like every traumatic thing in chronological order. And I was like, this is the brief synopsis of Chris Marra. Just, you know, now you know.
Holy shit, man. That's great that you're doing that. I'm working on a bit about therapy, starting to talk about it. And I start off by saying like, fellas, go to therapy, you know, it'll get you laid, you know, because today in this new generation.
And all the women are going to be like, woo!
Yeah. And then I'm like, ladies, make sure you ask some follow-up questions. Cause I had a girlfriend that I was like, oh, this guy goes to therapy. She's like, oh my God, that's so hot. I'm like, yeah, but he hasn't been in like a year. I was like, get a fucking updated invoice or something. Like, you know, something like that. Like, holy shit, dude. So do you think that to be a comedian, you have to have a fucked up beginning in some way or another?
No, but I think it helps.
Yeah.
Like I think at an early age, I had to process things. Like humor was a way to just understand what's going on. Even the morning my dad killed himself, it was very humorous looking back. And
how so?
A lot of things. So we grew up really religious. And my dad was really religious and he spearheaded the whole thing. But I remember Sister Geraldine, our church nun, came. She's one of the first people that came, and, you know, she talked to me and she said, Christopher, I know this is a really sad day for you, but just so you know, like your father committed a mortal sin. That means he's going to hell.
What the fuck?
Right. And like, that's, you know, talk about timing. And then like my Uncle Frank, who is just the dumbest person in the family by a mile, he was on the phone for a while and he got off and he was like, everyone, good news. Joe, my dad, was an organ donor. And we're like, you know, and then Nana, who lived with us, my grandma, my mom's mom, she's old fashioned central Pennsylvania, like blue collar, worked in a bar or whatever. She's drinking coffee. I thought we cried every tear we could have. It was like an hour after. And she's sitting there drinking coffee and she goes, you know, Joe made the pot really strong this morning. And I'm like, yeah, he probably and this is what I want to work on in a bit. Either he obviously wasn't in the right mindset, or that was his last fuck you to his mother-in-law to be like, yeah, you're damn right. You don't like 3 spoonfuls of Folgers, bitch. Like,
yeah.
Take it, you know, but yeah. So
holy shit. How old were you when he killed himself?
I was 10. So, you know,
Wow.
I wasn't mentally becoming who I am at all.
Yeah. What was that like? Like, so what did your teens look like? So were you like an angry kid or like?
My mom would say so, but I like looking back, like I really, like I was a good kid. Like if you look at like the statistics of everything, I should have 2 kids out of wedlock by now. I should be into drugs. Like I was a really good student.
Yeah.
I was a class clown, obviously. I was a good, like teachers loved me. Like I had a lot of friends. Friends' parents loved me, said I was really respectful. You know, I went to an all boys high school, and that's kind of how I became a good shit talker. But yeah, like, yeah, I mean, did I have some anger issues? Yeah, but my mom didn't really help. Like she put too much on me as a 10-year-old kid with no dad. and just expected me to be able to do certain things around the house and everything. So like, yeah, I would have outbursts, but I don't consider it my fault.
I think you're right on that. Like you said, statistically, you should be X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
With your dad killing himself, and then you said your mom was abusive. Was it like more like verbal? Like was it?
It was more verbal with me and psychological. It was more physical with my sisters.
Yeah.
I put a stop to that. I'll just say that. She was hitting my sister one day, and I put a stop to that.
Yeah,
I'll just say that. And I'm the youngest of three. I got two older sisters, but I always say like my dad was still a better parent than my mom, and he had a lot of shit going on, but like he was still there at like our sporting events, Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts, like everything. He was there, recitals. So yeah, and like I graduated a year early from Syracuse. Like,
oh damn,
yeah,
dude.
I got into a program that at the time they only accepted like 50 kids every year. Like I did well for myself.
Yeah.
And it, but it was like never enough. Like I was still the black sheep just because I was the funny guy, and she caught me with some beer in high school, and she acted like it was, she kept every time I hung out with a girl in my teens or older, she thought I was having sex and gonna have a kid, and it was the complete opposite. Like I'm actually like I've never been into like the hooking up, fucking around thing.
Really?
Yeah,
that's interesting.
And I don't know if part of that is like just trying to like, if someone tells me something, and sometimes I'll do the opposite out of spite. But yeah, that's just who I've been. Like my sisters. Wow. Yeah, I guess my sisters raised me well, but yeah, I just.
Because a lot of times trauma can make you go like hypersexual, and like especially the weird relationship with the mom as well. That like could add to it. And you really did. You beat the fucking odds like a motherfucker, bro. That's great.
Yeah, and I still never, like, even as an adult, like I never, when I did sleep around that one brief period a couple years ago, like I did it because I felt like I had to do it. Like I went to Syracuse, a huge party school. And like, it was easy to just find a dumb girl and be like, I'm a tall blonde guy on the rugby team. Like, but it just wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shit. How was like the healing process for you, to deal with the stuff from your mom, like, and all that?
I mean, when like it never, I don't know if like, I still have anger towards her.
Yeah.
But it's not, to me, it's just like, I want to make it in comedy, and just, I have a lot of jokes about my mom.
Yeah.
But like, I just want her to see me on TV one day when she's sitting there alone, wherever she lives. I don't know where she lives. And, kind of be like, holy shit. Like both my sisters are crushing it right now.
Nice.
My one sister's was a stay-at-home mom for a few years. Now she just got a job because she needed to do something.
Yeah.
She has a great family. My other sister here in North Carolina works from home for a couple of years, makes fat stacks of money. So it's just like,
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you still talk to your mom at all?
No, none of us have. And
okay.
My last correspondence, I just moved back to Philly after I graduated college, and she was emailing the family about something. She never communicated well. She would always email people, even if I was in the room with her. And it was some email thing. We were going back and forth, and I just replied all, and I said, "Go to hell, Deborah." And that was the last thing that I said, which probably wasn't like the best thing, but like, it was just like, I'm starting my life. Like I graduated from a great program in 3 years. I did this on my own. I had no help from you. If anything, you made it worse. Like, like go fuck yourself.
Was anybody in your family like, hey, that's your mother, you gotta.
So what's crazy is growing up, I was alluding to or like telling my uncles and everything about what was going on. And it was always, well, that's your mother. But no one really believed me until I got older, and my mom started fucking over her brothers. And then they started coming to me, and my response was, this wouldn't have happened if you listened to a crying 11, 12-year-old boy. Right. Like, so she fucked him over, but I don't really feel bad. Cause if my niece or nephew, as much as I love my sisters and know that they're good parents, if I had any indication that they were being abused, I would drive over there, whatever, and be like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, that's Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah. That whole, like, that's your mom or that's your dad. Cause I don't talk to my father anymore because he was abusive.
It's bullshit.
Hey, like no remorse type shit.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, my conscience is clear. I'm like, all right, fuck you, dude. Like,
That's a very Puerto Rican thing though, right? To
yo, for real.
abuse your woman. And,
yeah. My answer, like, this is, I'm like, no, like, toxic is toxic. You got to get that shit
Right.
out. Especially if you're trying to, like, break all hate, social media, this generational curses and all that,
Right.
but it is what it is. Like, get those fucking people out of your life. That's good, man.
Yeah.
I always knew you were a good dude, bro.
Dude, and that's what I'm saying. Like,
I knew it.
no, that's what I'm, but like, that's the thing though. Like, I think I obviously, part of the reason I shaved my beard for the first time in like 4 or 5 years is because my girlfriend said I looked angry and like the devil, and I have other people. Aaron Ransom said I look intimidating because I'm a big guy and I'm not getting booked as much. Like we talk, I tell you all the time, I feel like I need to be getting booked more because I'm doing well. And so I'm trying to be more approachable. But like, I think once people get to know me, they're like, oh, he's actually a good dude. I talk shit and like but like, I'm not like, if you get to, but I feel like no one's really tried to get to know me. So it's like,
I saw, our first interactions, being from up north, I love when someone approaches me and starts ball busting. So I'm like, all right, this dude's fucking cool. Dude, fuck, that's awesome, man. What do you think about the most? And that anything that's like,
man, that's, so I've said this since high school. I remember drinking beers on a porch in Wildwood, New Jersey with my former best friend, tell him about it. And he kind of asked a similar question. And I want Marra to mean something. Cause like, obviously like my dad got disbarred in the 90s from being a lawyer.
Yeah.
Cause he was embezzling money. My mom's obviously a cunt. So I just want like Marra to mean something one day, whether hopefully it's comedy, but like, even if it's just, he was a great fucking dad or whatever. He had great kids.
Yeah.
He worked, that's what I want.
oh, I think you could do that, man. I'm telling you, like when I saw that set and I told you have like Patrice O'Neal vibes, I wasn't blown. So I would never use that name to like,
I'm not even kidding. When you messaged me or no, when you told me and then I messaged you, because after you told me that, I like went home and thought about it. I got like tears in my eyes because like that's.
Oh damn! I meant that shit, dude. I was like, this motherfucker's doing some. It's one of those jokes where it's like, oh shit, and then I'm like, oh no, this is like funny, and he's like, you can tell he thought about this shit. It's very smart, and dude, you could definitely do that, man. And I think if you're not getting booked now, like we talked about in the gym, just reach out to people. That's where I'm at now with the main club here. I'm like, I just need to be in their face more. Yeah, a lot of times people have their own shit going on, and you just kind of got to be in their face.
Yeah, you got to grab the brass ring, as Vince McMahon would say.
What the fuck? What's a brass ring?
Like Vince McMahon would always say that about like wrestlers who like weren't getting pushed to the top.
Ooh, okay.
And he would be like, you gotta grab the brass ring. So I guess you gotta do that. Cause like, again, I don't think the world of me as a comedian, but like, I know I'm better than what I'm doing right now. And I think every comic thinks that. Every comic has an ego because we're doing comedy, but like, and also comedy makes me happy more than anything else. So like, I want to do what makes me happy, so yeah.
You said you didn't like the comedy scene here. Why is that?
It just seems like we're checking off boxes, man. Like it just seems like every show I'm like, okay, we have and again, there are funny black people, white people, women, trans, gay. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. Just be funny. That's our job. But I just feel like now it's like if you told me that there was a show and I had to guess the comic for each box to check, I would get 90% of it right. Okay, we needed a white woman. Oh, I bet I knew who it is. Yeah. Oh, we need, and it's like, okay, I think, and if I ran a local club, I would want as much local talent available in the pool as possible because that's how you get people coming back.
Yeah.
Like, that's how you get, like, especially if the headliner's not really well known, if every time the local person that lives in Raleigh goes to the local comedy club and there's a different host or feature or whatever, it brings them back instead of, oh, I've heard this guy's joke, and they kind of tune out for 20 minutes. Yeah. And it's like, I've worked weekends, I've headlined shows. Like I'm not the best, but I know I can work a fucking weekend.
How much time do you have?
I got 40.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
How long you been doing it?
So I first started kind of in high school, but it was one of those like, you know what I mean? But I'll just say like consistently 5 or 6 years. I'll just say that.
Nice. Okay. So that's,
like, yeah. So like I know how to write a joke. I know my voice for the most part. I know people say I sound like Louis C.K. or whatever, but like, you know, I know what I'm doing, and I just want that one shot. Even if it's like just hosting. Let me just show I can work the local club on a weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I like about comedy is that naturally, like, the process humbles you.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could headline, you know, a bombing ass club one weekend, and then, you know, that Tuesday you're at a brewery.
Yep.
And there's like 6 people, and you're like, okay, like
I featured at a grilled cheese shop in Wilmington, North Carolina for 3 people. And one of it was a black couple. And it was just funny because it was the daytime. It was the summer. So I'm standing like 5 feet in front of 3 people in a chair, just like, yeah, like, you know, I got sweatshirts in the winter, you know, because I have a bit about my sweatshirts.
How'd it go, the show overall?
It was actually a lot of fun because
Nice.
once you realize that like nothing's going to come of this, like you start like talking to him and things like that. So I started like hitting on the black woman because her husband was this big black dude, like scary, but he was a really nice guy. He was getting a kick out of it.
Yeah, yeah.
But like that's when you realize that it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
that's when it's like fun.
I love that you have that, like, the instinct to see that, like, because most people would have saw the big black dude and been like, oh, I'm not fucking,
like, what's he gonna do though?
Yeah.
Like, I know, like 99% of people aren't going to do anything. If he does do something, then it makes the news. People start looking up my name. I get followers on social media. I get on the Joe Rogan podcast. So it's like a win-win. Yeah. It's a win-win.
You're ready to be canceled at this point.
I want to be. If you listen to my podcast, you will find something every episode where someone would be like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Because like I know Shane Gillis. And I remember when he got hired by SNL and then he got fired a week later. And I was like, I think this is going to be good for him because SNL sucks and he's so funny. He doesn't need it. And he handled it the right way. He kind of went underground for a few months and then started putting his own shit out. And now he's on Joe Rogan a couple times now. Which is not a measure of how well you're doing, but it also kind of is like,
if you go on there twice in 1 year, you're doing, you're killing.
And he went on, and the second time he went on with Ari Shaffir and Mark Norman. So it's like, he's fine.
I have some neighbors. I was hanging out with them, and they were like, "Oh, do you like SNL?" I was like, not really. They got some sketches that are good, but like not really." They're like, "What?" Like, then the dude sent me sketches. I'm like, "Those are okay." The third one you sent me was funny. Yeah, but I realized that there are these people that want to hear their. Tim Dillon said this.
Their views confirmed.
They want to hear their political shit parroted back to them and be like, "Yes, oh my God, yeah." And I'm like, I just want to be funny. I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. Right. Everybody's getting it.
Yeah.
You know.
But I think Republicans are funnier.
I don't know. On social media, I think the liberals are funnier. The Republicans are just getting it. Like that "Let's Go Brandon" shit. I love that.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, I love that they have that. I almost
bought a shirt a few weeks ago at the farmer's market. Like, because I thought that was just so 2021.
Yeah.
Now it's this like slogan for them. But I just mean like in terms of like I listen to Ben Shapiro because I think he's funny, and I listen to Candace Owens because I like listening to minority Republicans. I like hearing that perspective because I think we need that.
Yeah, yeah.
And they talk about, like, Dave Chappelle called Candace Owens a cunt on his George Floyd special or whatever, like last year, and she still's like, yeah, like he's funny, like all this stuff. So like I just feel like there's a huge opportunity for both parties to kind of bring humor into it, but they're just so like. They're just so fucking annoying.
I call them like tribal rights and tribal lefts. Like they don't give a fuck. It's just like
you can't be right about everything because if you were, then your party would win every time. So like clearly, like I would just want one time someone on either side to be like, no, I disagree with our party on this. But you can't do that. You have to. Yes, AOC's always right. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's bullshit. The way I look at it too is like, there's no way half the country's wrong, completely wrong.
Right.
Like exactly. I told my girl, this is like 2014. I was like, I think there's going to be a swing of more black conservatives coming in.
Look at that,
and shit like that. And then also white rappers. And that has been happening. And I feel like that's good for just, I think in our lifetime, if we make it to 70, 75, I think we're going to, for the most part, be above the race shit, where people are going to be, because if more, black conservatives swing over and all that, I think there's going to be a point where race, it still might be some kind of issue, but it won't be this thing that's constantly being hit on all the time.
Can we talk about, can we talk about something else other, like as soon as Virginia won that heated election like a month ago and Republicans dominated, all the liberal news outlets are saying it's because of racism and white supremacy. And it's like, okay, but if you're just saying that, you're actually not listening to why the people voted. Listen to why the people voted and then adjust your platform.
Yeah.
Like what Trump has his issues, obviously. Why did he have there's a huge difference between the amount of black support and Hispanic support between him and other Republicans. It's like, clearly he's saying something that's resonating instead of just pointing the finger and saying, like, my first manager was my best manager ever. He would always say, look at the thumb, not the finger. Because when you're pointing at somebody, don't look at them, look at what,
okay.
So I get frustrated with Democrats more just because I think more of my friends and the people I hang out with are liberal. So I hear more of the bullshit that they spew out of their mouth.
Yeah.
I hang out with a lot more lesbians than I thought I would a couple years ago, which is fine, but they're obviously very liberal. And it's some of the things they say, I just have to I'm like, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to say anything now, but I'm going to send you an article that, just disputes that when I get home. Cause you're wrong. You're actually wrong.
Well, I voted third party. And when I was telling people that, they were like, that's a vote for Trump. I'm like, it's not.
No. Cause if
technically, literally, and actually it's not.
Cause if people actually voted the way that they their brain, I wish they could do a scan of your brain and determine who would be the best candidate for you. I think if most people did that, libertarians or whoever, third party votes would skyrocket.
Yeah.
But people feel like they have to
win.
And it's this problem. Like if I had a friend who voted third party and Jill or Joe Jordanson or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things I agree with the Libertarian Party. But it's just, people are so fucking stupid, man.
At this point, I'll vote third party for whoever's leading just to get, because if we just get a third voice, eventually they'll get corrupted too. But we do something else. But I can't. I don't know. They're saying that's a vote for Trump, and then I'm like Joe Biden signed the 94 crime bill, put mad black people in prison. Kamala Harris had her whole thing where she was putting innocent people. What are we doing here?
Because there's a blue D next to their name. Would you ever vote Republican?
I think I did, but not out of principles.
Yeah.
It was literally, it was my first time voting.
Yeah.
And I was like, it'd be funny if I just voted for Bush. But I don't know if I followed through with that. I don't know, but I don't give a fuck. I voted for Hillary in 2016 and I was going to vote third party, but I got a smart girlfriend I was hanging out with convinced me. I'm like, cool. And I felt like I still regret it to this day. I'm so third party, I don't give a shit if I lose. I'll lose in the polls, but I keep my soul. I feel
win
I feel
in
good.
Principle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for third party, we got to have a long-term plan of just we're going to lose the next 2 or 3 elections, but we'll be a part of the wave that now we have a third party president, 3 terms from now or something like that for something to change. Another thing with Biden was all right, he got elected. I'm like, all right, cool. It'd be really nice if he can put a palpable dent in the prison industrial complex. Since he had something to do with it in the 90s, this would be really cool. If he did that, I'd be like, all right, this motherfucker's the man.
Yeah.
Nothing like that. He recently had some bills passed where he could have minimized sentencing for marijuana possession and shit like that. Did not do it. So I'm like, dude, what the fuck? What are we doing?
He's dropped the ball on a lot.
Yeah.
And I get tired of, and again, I'm just reiterating what the people I hang out with say. They're always like, I had no other option. I couldn't vote for Trump. And it's like, but you did. There's always another option. You can't. And I think the problem is, and I said it on my podcast over a year ago during election season, I said, it seems like the Democrats' platform when Biden ran was he's not Trump, but that's only going to last so long. If he runs again, which I don't think he will, he's going to get butt fucked.
Oh yeah.
He's going to get raped up the ass.
Yeah.
He's. And
do you think Trump's running again?
I think he is.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Cause whenever he does an interview on Fox News, I always listen because he fascinates me just as a sociopath.
Yeah.
And I think he will, cause he's building his own social media platform right now. Why would you do that unless you were planning on, he has nothing to gain by that right now. So I think he will. I know a lot of Republicans don't want him to because he isn't a traditional Republican. But I'd be fascinated if he ran. I really would.
I think he would win if he ran again.
I think 6 months ago, if he ran again, like Biden just from the beginning, it's just been like, no, like,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's the building the app thing too is frustrating because when they kicked him off of the internet, I was like, this isn't good.
No.
This is like you're now it's already hard enough to try to
it's a slippery slope
to try to figure things out with everybody in one pool on
Right.
Facebook or whatever.
Yep.
Now you're gonna have politically separated social media platforms. Now how are we gonna communicate? We just took like 3 steps back by doing that.
And it was such a bad idea. And also like he, as much as even if you don't like him, like he was funny.
Oh yeah.
Like
he was
like
funny.
when we were talking about buying like Finland or whatever, and he put the Photoshop the Trump Tower in Finland. Like that was like he was hilarious. Like and like I wouldn't have minded if they like suspended him when he was president and then like brought him back, because now I would love to see what he's up to. But yeah, I just
Bro, during those debates when he just started roasting people.
Oh my God.
I was like, is this really happening? This is like up north schoolyard, just bully shit.
I mean, I loved it.
Yeah, I was
but I was
like, I could be president.
I know. I used to be super anti-Trump. Like I was tweeting about it, putting on Facebook, all this shit. And then I graduated college and I realized no one gives a fuck about you or your feelings. And then I was like, I can get upset about this or I can laugh at it and understand that this isn't really going to affect me that much.
Yeah.
Oh, it's because you're a white man. No, it's because most of the shit the president does doesn't truly, like, it's always small steps every term. It's always small things. And so, yeah. And once I looked at him as a comedian and not a president, I was great. I would wake up every morning, check Twitter.
Dude, people cut off like family members on either side for political shit. I'm like, that is fucking insane.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers don't give a shit about you.
Yeah.
They're hanging out after they got off TV. They're having lunch at some fancy place in DC.
Yeah. It's just entertainment. It's another vertical of entertainment now.
I heard somebody say that politics is Hollywood for ugly people. And I was like, that checks out.
100%.
Like, holy shit. Yeah, if he runs, he's going to win. And Biden, we just don't hear from him.
Well, that's what he did during the campaign. Like he was always hiding in his basement. I feel like Trump was out there with the rallies and riling people up, and Biden was just if he did have a rally, it was like the funeral procession. It was just, everything was socially distant. Everything was just very calm. And it's like, you know, people were like, Trump's not presidential, but I'm like, what does that mean? Like, what does it mean to be presidential? Because every president's been corrupt.
Drone strikes, fucking
right.
Taking money from
right. Biden touching people inappropriately.
Yeah.
Like, is that presidential? Like him calling Kyle Rittenhouse a white supremacist before the verdict. No matter what you think of Kyle Rittenhouse, that's irresponsible to do that on national TV. Is that presidential? Like, if you're gonna sit there and nitpick things that Trump did, I'll do the same thing with Biden, just out of spite, just because I think you're fucking stupid if you actually I had to vote for Biden because Trump is what is Trump? What he's a loudmouth guy from New York and Philly. That's what he is.
Yeah, dude. This is I don't know. People, they treat politics like a sports team. I had a buddy of mine go, "Oh, fuck yeah. The Republicans just took 2 more seats in the Senate." I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about? Like, what do you like?
Yeah. It's, well, I understand what he's saying, because then it's like now that they can stonewall anything Biden tries to push. But yeah, it's like, okay. And then it's going to be 2 more years of nothing.
Yeah.
And just finger pointing. And it's like, all right, man. Like,
it's interesting watching the hypocrisy on both sides of the
party.
like,
it's great.
The thing, like the censorship thing, like the Democrats only liked it because, you know, the tech companies are kind of on their side.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
If the shit was flipped, they'd be singing a different tune.
Oh, 100%. Like the Ghislaine or Ghislaine Maxwell thing. Like there's a big Twitter account with like 500,000 followers on it that's been tweeting updates because the media won't do it. Update us on the trial, and it got suspended. It didn't technically break any rules, but just because it's updating people on what's going on in the trial, it's very tech censorship is actually a big important issue for me. I'd say it's like top 3, top 5.
It's anti-enlightenment.
Yeah, I want to hear people I disagree with.
Yeah. These people like that are celebrating the tech censorship. They would be burning books back during the Enlightenment era.
Exactly.
Like this. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah. It's like we're not going to be like China or North Korea, but like you do wonder now. Anytime I read something, I'm always like, all right, I need to like fact check this on my own because I don't trust anybody. I don't trust Twitter anymore.
Yep.
It's a problem.
Yeah. And then like one thing people bring up is, well, that's their company and it's their right. I'm like, cool. I agree with their right to do it. I'm saying philosophically, like on a deeper level, I disagree with fucking the censoring of it. Yeah, do it. It's your company, but it's a bitch move. Like,
no, you're a cuck. And the new Twitter CEO is even more like anti-free speech. Like he's even more like left leaning, which I'm kind of worried about a little bit.
More left leaning than Jack.
Jack,
yeah. Wow, that's interesting. I want to see how that plays out.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
I'll just tweet my bullshit anyway.
Have you been keeping up with? They're definitely over correcting some shit on social media. They're like the numbers are down for everybody.
Yeah,
it's like they automatically defaulted people's accounts to there's like 3 tiers, and it's like limited. So they limit things that they feel are sensitive. So you got to like go in manually and put in, take off the block.
Yanis Pappas, the comedian who isn't right wing at all, but he does have some moderate views with some, I guess now right wing views on Rittenhouse and everything, has been getting, was it shadow banned?
Yeah.
Because someone screen recorded them searching for, they typed in YANNIS and he didn't pop up.
That's crazy.
Which he should because he's verified and he's, how many Giannis spelled that way,
Yeah.
So that's a problem that we have. And like that, and honestly, like no offense to the left, that's a left problem to me. That's you did this because of Trump.
Yeah.
And because of the, there's no reason members of the Taliban are still on Twitter and Trump is off. That's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah, they're riding go-karts and shit, eating ice cream.
Right. Well, they kind of look cool now. You kind of want to join them. You're like, I'd hang out with them.
I'm like, wait, hold on. What are their views again? I want,
Yeah. No, we'll get to the Death to America in a minute, but ice cream? Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you look at the taxes, you kind of see where they're coming
right,
from.
Yeah. You're like, this does suck. Yeah.
Dude, this has been a great episode, bro.
Dude, my episode of Date Live with you, August 2020, I thought was a great one.
Yeah. And I'm glad we got to get deeper on your relationship perspective and all that. This is like a perfect episode, man. You really it was awesome, man. I appreciate you, brother.
Of course, man.
Yeah. Before we go, what do you want to see for the future of America?
Oh God.
If Chris Marra was President Chris Marra, what are your first 100 days? What's that going to look like?
Honestly, mental health as a part of the health plan for companies. Let everyone talk. I don't care if it's the KKK or super left Antifa. Let everyone have a platform, and it's the marketplace of ideas. Let everyone. But I don't fucking know, man. I wouldn't build a wall or anything, but I don't know, Freddie. That's a tough one.
Yeah. Let the KKK talk, but they got to take off the hoods.
Yeah.
Like I'm like that on social media too. No fake Instagram accounts. I want to picture your face.
Yeah.
The state you live in.
Right. Because I still believe that 99% of people are not racist and are good people. As cynical as I am, I think 99% of people are good. So therefore, if the KKK is tweeting fucked up shit, then it'll naturally just get kind of pushed to the bottom because people are like, no, this is racist. I don't like this.
Yeah.
And that's natural. You don't have to block people. You don't have to do that.
I think there's like only 6,000 members in the KKK.
Right. Which is, it's like a high school football game. Like if it was sold out, they would have the whole stadium. But other than that, like it's not really that big.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be a sick homecoming.
That would be. It's a white out.
Yeah.
Everyone wear white. Okay. Yeah.
P. Diddy's fucking white party.
Yeah.
What's the name of your podcast?
It's called Run It Back, but it's BAC percentage, like blood alcohol content.
Yeah.
Because I'm often drinking when I'm doing it. But it's called Run It Back. I got into trouble with KFC Barstool a few months ago. He talk shit about me, which actually gave me a bigger
Oh, nice.
subscriber
What'd
base.
you say?
So I worked on a you know that game they have, Answer the Internet, the card game, and they get comedians on and they pick a card and they talk about it. It's like a drinking card game.
Yeah.
I was a part of a few comedians that worked on another version of it, and it got to the point where they were talking about a TV show, and Barstool was involved in the discussions, and Barstool did what they typically do with creative content nowadays because they're so big. They just ghost you and then do it on their own and steal it. And so, yeah, they kicked it to the curb. So I called out KFC Barstool, not thinking, because I was drunk. It was the pandemic. And I was like, fuck you. Like, you stole us. And like a minute later, he quoted in my tweet and just like all this shit. And, you know, I was like, you're a fucking loser if you have hundreds of thousands of Twitter followers and you respond that quickly and you're that insecure about it. Like, you clearly know, like, it's a sore subject because you know you're a pussy.
Yeah.
But on his KFC radio podcast, he briefly mentioned me and my podcast because I'm a troll to him, which inherently people were like, okay, what is this podcast? And I had a huge spike, and then obviously it's going to go down. But then I think some people stuck onto it.
That's good. That's like a semi-canceling almost. It's like you're almost there to get canceled. Yeah.
I would love to get canceled.
I'm in 1 year. I'll be ready. I got about 35 minutes. I need to, give me. I want to have a solid 45.
Yeah.
Then I'll be ready to be canceled. I'm ready.
I think you are lucky because you're not a black guy, but you get to say the N-word. And I'm kind of jealous of that.
I got it all, bro. I got the Infinity Gauntlet socially.
You do.
Bro.
It's
I'm like,
not fair. It's like you're not even Mexican. You're Puerto Rican, right?
Dominican. But same thing.
Oh,
it's
okay.
It's
the same. No, I mean it's not. You need a passport. But
yeah, that's true.
Because if I want to say the word, I have to close my door, scream it into a pillow.
Yeah.
My roommates are like, "Oh, Chris is home."
Yeah.
So you're lucky, man. But yeah, you should work it into a set and just see how the response is. Because like you have that look where it's like I can't get mad because he might be.
Yeah, no, I'm actually I'm black because the Dominicans are black.
Are they really?
Yeah. But when I become president, I'll give you some N-word passes, dude.
Hell yeah,
yeah, dude.
I'm gonna walk up on stage with them and just throw them into the crowd. All right, here we go. Here's one, and just
hell yeah, dude. Yo, thanks for doing this episode, guys. Subscribe, rate, and review to the FredTalk podcast. Share my shit with your friends, and subscribe to Chris Marra's podcast. Run It Back. If you fuck with crazy white boys, which I do. Hit this man up. He's a good soul. That's it. Any last words, bro?
Hey, man. Thanks for coming.
Bye.